This TikToker destroyed his life threatening the feds for his prank content. I mean, the dude is currently facing 65 years in prison if convicted on all charges. Currently, he spent nearly 2 years stuck in a legal limbo because of all this, and now he's finally been ruled competent to stand trial. After nearly 2 years of delays, evaluations, transfers, nonstop confusion about what was even happening to him, a federal court has now ruled that Daniel Larson is fit for trial. But as I mentioned, up until now, this case has basically been stuck in limbo. Nothing could really move forward while doctors in the court were trying to figure out one question: is he mentally fit to even face these charges? And now we have an answer, and a federal case is about to play out in court. And if things go badly for him, he could be looking at decades in prison. 65 years to be exact. Currently, he's facing 7 federal charges, including threats involving explosives and a threat directed at a federal agent. But Daniel Larson is known for essentially being a TikTok lolcow. He'd go on these random rants, claim that he was running for president, talk about a music career that never really existed, and somehow built a following of hundreds of thousands of people just watching the chaos unfold.
I want to say I'm sorry for the threats. I'm sorry to everyone at the White House for the threats, but I am serious. I don't feel safe and I need protection. I need bodyguards. Nobody was understanding that. Nobody was helping. I wanted you guys to hear.
Daniel!
Why did you try to hit me? No! What? Get off me! Get off me!
He's one of those people that gained a following because people just simply couldn't look away. What started as weird internet content slowly turned into real world incidents. And then those incidents turned into arrests. And then those arrests turned into federal charges. So how do you go from pulling a fire alarm inside of an Olive Garden to 7 federal charges? Well, Daniel Larson first showed up online around 2020, and right from the start, people had no idea what they were really looking at. His videos were awkward and honestly kind of unsettling. He'd stare into the camera, talk about random things, and then make big claims about his life, and none of it really added up. Very quickly though, he built a following, and then the internet kind of turned him into this character. People started calling him Mr. President after he randomly announced that he was running for office in 2020.
They love Daniel Larson.
Mr. President! Mr. President! Mr. President! Mr. President, thank you for your wisdom. Thank you for your wisdom, Mr. President.
And others played into his belief that he was some kind of rising music star. And there were, entire groups of people pretending to be managers, record labels, or even celebrities, which everyone hyping him up online led to him posting videos like this, preparing for his concerts.
Yeah, that. I'm gonna go thrash that. Shoddy gonna suck this. Shoddy gonna suck this. Don't make me pull up. I'd smash that. Then pull out.
Dude, what? But he got banned on TikTok in 2021 for flashing the camera on live. But that didn't stop him from meeting up with other internet disasters.
New York, concrete jungle where dreams are made of. There's nothing you can't do. Now you're in New York.
I think that might be one of the more cursed meetings of all time. But honestly, what happened with Daniel is what we've seen a lot here on this channel. The more attention he got, the more chaotic his content became. You would have live streams where he'd rant for hours, strange storylines like the fog, and then multiple moments that got him banned multiple times, including one incident where he, went completely off the rails during a live. But while all of this was happening, there was also real concerns about his mental state and real world situations starting to bleed into his online presence, because he wasn't just posting anymore. No, he was showing up in public places, getting into confrontations, and having repeated run-ins with the police. And by 2023, things were clearly escalating a whole lot, because now he's showing up to random cities, getting flown out by fans, meeting other internet personalities, and almost every single time it ends the same way: complete chaos. Then a few months later, he's back in Colorado, and now it's turning into actual criminal charges. So in July of 2023, he was arrested after an incident at Walmart where he apparently assaulted an employee. In September, he was arrested again, this time on a college campus for allegedly shoving a staff member.
He pushed one of our guys on, struck me, tried to get him off the property, then came physically aggressive towards us, shoved one of our supervisors.
Sorry, I'm not aware of a bolo.
My hands on, pushed him to the ground. That's fine, that's for shift awareness. And tried to punch me. Then as we're walking him over here, trying to get him over to you guys,
I couldn't copy that.
donkey kicks back.
So, the guy is just physically attacking people left and right. And then by October, he's in court, getting hit with probation. So, At this point, it's already bad, but then December happens, and that's when things get really bad, because Daniel goes live from inside of an Olive Garden, and what starts as, another one of his usual confusing rants quickly turns into a full-blown scene. He's convinced something is happening around him, thinks people are after him, and then out of nowhere, he pulls the fire alarm inside of a packed restaurant.
I am dating another celebrity. They're out in the parking lot. I have an FBI investigator. I work for the Secret Service. They are outside and apparently they're being straight up harassed by your employees. I'm performing a citizen's arrest. The FBI is outside. I have more than enough photos coming in.
Who are you arresting?
I'm arresting every single person here.
We've been very nice. That's what I'm gonna tell you. You're not filming me, correct?
I am legally required to.
No, you can actually just leave now.
I don't have to leave.
Yeah, I guess so.
Hey, whoa, no sir!
Awesome. So to no one's surprise, he gets arrested again. And then at this point, it's not just random incidents anymore. It's looking like a pattern, because while all of this public chaos is happening, there's something else going on behind the scenes that most people didn't fully understand at the time. Because throughout 2023, Daniel had allegedly been making a series of threats. And I do mean actual threats, not just trolling. Specifically, according to federal filings, Daniel had threatened to use an explosive device at a courthouse, a university campus, and even the White House, along with a separate threat directed at an FBI agent. And I guess none of that really hit the mainstream until 2024. But in early 2024, everything catches up to him all at once. And this time, it's not local police. No, it's the feds. So on April 25th, 2024, a federal indictment is filed in Colorado. And just a few days later, on April 30th, Daniel Larson is taken into custody. And at first, people online didn't really understand what was going on. Something is just another probation issue, another local arrest. But according to court filings, Daniel is charged with 7 federal counts, all tied to threat communications. 6 of those counts fall under laws involving the use of a threatened use of an explosive material, and the 7th involves an interstate threat to injure a federal agent. And because these threats cross state lines and involve federal entities, that's what brings in the federal authorities. And if he was going to be convicted on all of these counts, he could be facing up to 65 years in prison. And that's why, almost immediately after his arrest, the court makes another big decision. Because on May 10th, 2024, the judge issues an order of detention, which basically means he's not going home. He's going to remain in federal custody while this case plays out. And from that point on, Daniel Larson disappears from the internet. This was literally the last TikTok he posted.
Alrighty. So I just made it into Boulder, Colorado for probation. I am running about 38 minutes late currently.
Okay, but for a while there, the case didn't move forward. And the reason is, it comes down to one question. Is Daniel Larson even mentally fit to stand trial? Well, in May of 2024, not long after his arrest, both sides request a psychological evaluation, and the court agrees. I do also want to point out that when a court is deciding if someone is fit to stand trial, they're not normally asking, does he act normal? It's more kind of like, does he understand the charges and can he assist his own defense? So the fact that Daniel is a lolcow and, is an overall odd guy doesn't mean that he doesn't understand the charges. Over the next year, though, he's transferred between multiple facilities, including federal prisons and medical centers, because this isn't just a jail anymore. It's part detention, part psychiatric evaluation. At one point, he's in Colorado, then he gets moved, and then moved again. But eventually, he ends up in a federal medical center in Springfield, Missouri, where these evaluations are actually carried out. And the results are not good for moving the case forward. Multiple evaluations reportedly find that he's not competent to stand trial, which means instead of going to court, he's sent to what's called competency restoration. Basically, the system tries to get him to a point where he can't stand trial. And this is why the case drags on for so long, because at one point in 2025, there's finally a hearing to figure out what's next. And even then, the judge orders yet another evaluation. So from the outside, people are watching this thinking, is he in jail? Is he in the hospital? Did he get released? What's going on here? And the answer is kind of all of above, depending on when you look, because he's in federal custody the entire time, but bouncing between detention and medical evaluation. But then in 2026, something finally changes. In March, after all the delays, all the evaluations, and all of the back and forth, the court finally gets an answer. Daniel Larson is found competent to stand trial. And just like that, everything that's been stuck for nearly 2 years starts moving again. Because now, for the first time since his arrest, this case can actually go forward. And all the charges didn't go anywhere. He's still facing 7 federal counts tied to alleged threat communications, including threats involving explosives and a federal agent. So from here, a few things can happen. He could take a plea deal, fight the charges at trial, or go through the full court process, which could take months. But one way or another, this is no longer a stalled case. This is an active federal prosecution that is about to play out in real time. First, both sides have to file their pretrial motions by March 20th. And that's where the defense and the prosecutors argue about what evidence comes in, what gets excluded, and any legal issues before the trial even begins. Then responses to those motions are due by April 3rd. And if there's anything major that needs to be argued in person, like evidence disputes, they can request a hearing right after that. But here is, I guess, the big moment, because on April 9th, 2026, there's a trial preparation conference. And this date's really important because it can also turn into a change of plea hearing, meaning this is one of the last chances for this case to not go to trial. So essentially, if a plea deal is going to happen, this is likely where it's going to happen. But if it doesn't, then we already know what's next, because the court has officially scheduled a 5-day jury trial starting on April 20th. And there he's going to have to fight all 7 counts. The first one was allegedly threatening to use an explosive on a courthouse in Colorado. The second one was the same, but a nonprofit center in Lakewood, Colorado. And the third one was for the White House. And then the fourth one was a state government building in Colorado. And then the fifth one was a college campus in Colorado. And then the 6th count is for threatening the FBI agent. And then the 7th count is threatening to destroy the FBI headquarters with an explosive device yet again. So 6 of these are for threatening explosive devices, and one of them is for threatening an FBI agent. Obviously, from seeing his content, I don't think he's playing with a full deck of cards, but he was found fit for trial. So jury selection happens in the same morning, and from there on out, that's when it starts. And of course, I'll be keeping an eye on this moving forward, but the gist of this is after years of being in limbo, we'll know by next month if this is actually going to go to trial or not. But if this does go to trial and this video gets like 40,000 likes, I'll fly out and go cover it for you guys. But other than that, if you guys are new here, feel free to subscribe to stay tuned for that, and I'll see you guys in the next video, which will be like drop tomorrow or something like that. Peace.